Welcome to the second video in this series regarding effects for the 5th edition rule set within Fantasy Grounds. Last time we looked at how we would set up a simple effect using the attack action and how we can modify the character's attack roll in various ways. So in this video we're going to have a look at some of the other combat modifiers that are available. If we pop up Bob here, player character, we'll see that we've already entered a power group just like we did in the last video, and we're now ready to enter our first effect. So we right click on the example line, add action and add effect, and then click on the little magnifying glass to get our effects dialog box. The keyword for initiative is init, I-N-I-T. Follow it with the colon, and then we follow it with a modifier. Just like the attack action, we can use a number or a dice string, and we can also use any of the special modifiers in square brackets, like the character's level or proficiency bonus or an ability bonus, etc. But in this case we'll just keep it simple and we'll add in a 5 so that Bob's going to get a bonus of 5 to his initiative when he rolls it. We make sure that the targets is set to self, and then we can close the dialog box. As we said in the last video, these effects will only work if Bob is on the combat tracker. So let's get the combat tracker up and let's put Bob on it. If we look at his initiative on his character sheet at the moment, he's got a +1, and if we make an initiative roll, we see that he gets a +1 to whatever dice roll he rolls on his d20. If we now apply the effect to Bob and then re-roll that initiative, you can see now that he's got a +6. So the effect has taken into consideration, or the Fantasy Grounds has taken into consideration the effect which has been applied to Bob. So that's initiative. It's fairly straightforward. As I say, you can alter this. You can put in a dice string into that, and that will roll an extra dice when Bob rolls his initiative. But otherwise it's fairly straightforward, nothing really too much to get concerned about with initiative. So now let's have a look at another modifier, modifications to the character's armor class. So let's add another effect, adding an action and adding another effect, which creates a new line. We go into our dialog, and the descriptor or the modifier for armor class is AC, followed by our colon as usual. Now in the case of armor class, this won't take a dice string. It will still, however, take a number and any of the special characters like level, etc. But in this case, let's keep it simple just now, and we'll just give Bob an armor class bonus of 1. We make sure the targets are set to self, and we can close the dialog box. Let's get rid of this. Now Bob's armor class at the moment is 14, and when we add this effect onto Bob, you'll see that the armor class is still 14. It's a common misconception that things like armor class and stuff like that actually alter the character's statistics or modifiers or figures or whatever in the character sheet, but they don't. Effects always take a calculation when the dice rolls are actually made. So in this instance, when Bob or something tries to hit Bob, the effect will come into play during the attack phase of that action. So let's have a look at how this might work, and because we want to demonstrate this, I'm going to turn on the manual dice entry. Otherwise we could be here all day looking for the right dice rolls. So as I say, we know that Bob's AC is 14, so the spider here has got a +5 to hit, so he's going to hit Bob on a +5. So if we just make a roll attack against Bob, and we'll put in a 9 for the spider's roll, we can see that the spider rolled 14, which is equal to Bob's armor class, but the effect has added a +1 to that, and so the attack has missed. If we make the same attack, but this time we add in 10, you'll see that now, even with the effect, Bob has been hit because his armor class is 15 with the effect, and the spider has hit him. We can remove the manual dice entry now. As I say, the AC can also take a keyword like this. Let's make that square brackets rather than curly ones. Remove that one and add that in, and Fantasy Grounds is calculated based on Bob's level that his AC bonus is 4. The only thing that AC can't take is a dice string. We can also modify when Bob gets this bonus. For example, let's supposing Bob gets a bonus of 2 to his AC, but only if he is being hit with a melee attack. So just like the attack in the previous video, we put a comma in after the figure, and then we type in melee in lowercase. Let's get rid of that effect, refresh it, and now Bob's only going to get this AC, this additional armor class, if he's subjected to a melee attack. So if he gets subjected to a ranged attack, you can see that there's nothing down here to suggest that the effect is taken into consideration in the calculation. However, if we make a melee attack against Bob, you will see that there is a defense effect +2 in there. So unfortunately the spiders critically hit him here, so it doesn't really matter in this case, but you can see that Bob has actually gotten the +2 from a melee attack, but he didn't get it when he was subjected to a ranged attack. Okay, let's now have a look at the save keyword. And again, this is a fairly straightforward one, and we'll just add in our effect in the usual way, get the dialog box, and the keyword here is save, and we have the colon as usual. Now there's several possibilities here, but let's just do the simple one first, and let's just add in a 1. Make sure the target's set to self, and close the dialog. Get rid of this, and add the effect into Bob. Now, when Bob makes a saving throw now, you can see that he's getting a +1 to the save, and he's getting a +1 to any save that he makes, as you can see. So the keyword on its own with just a number means that all the saves will benefit from the bonus. Just like in the attack and initiative keywords, this can also take a dice string. So we can have a 1d4 and apply the effect, and you can see that Fantasy Grounds has rolled the 1d4 as well as the d20 to calculate what the saving throw is. You can refine the save and confine it to one or more abilities. So if, for example, we only wanted Bob to get a extra 1d4 to his dexterity save, then we add the comma in after the 1d4 and type in dexterity in lowercase. Probably spelling it right would be a good idea. And then we can apply that effect. And if we make a strength saving throw now, we see that Bob just gets his normal bonus of +4, but if we make the dex save, he's now rolling his d20 and the d4 in order to calculate the saving throw. Now we can chain various abilities to this. So for example, if he was to get a bonus to dexterity and to strength, then we can add the strength into here by adding another comma and then typing in strength in lowercase again. If we get rid of this effect and apply the new one, and if we make a dexterity save, we can see that Bob gets his 4. If we make a strength save, he gets the die 4, but if he makes an intelligence save, he doesn't get the die 4. So you can chain abilities after the number in the save, and it will apply to any abilities which are comma separated after the number. Again, save will take a string such as the character's level, or let's say proficiency bonus, which we didn't cover in the first video, so let's do that one now. So PRF, and that will add his proficiency bonus to his dexterity and strength throws. Get rid of that one, add the new one. You can see that it's converted it to 2, which is Bob's proficiency here. And if we make a dex saving throw now, we'll see that Bob is getting a +2 to it. If we make an intelligence save, he's not getting any effect from that. Right, let's look at the last one for this video, which will be skill. And this is very similar to the save and the other ones that we've been looking at. And essentially it gives a bonus or a penalty to a skill roll that the character is making. So once again, we will be adding our new action and effect. And the keyword here is actually skill, followed by our colon. This then will be followed by a number. Let's say 2, and then we need to tell Fantasy Grounds to which skill we're actually telling it to give the bonus to. So let's suppose that we're giving it to Insight. Again in lowercase, make sure the target's set to self. We get rid of that, add the effect, and if we go to Bob's skill tab, so if we make a deception check just to test this, we see that Bob's not getting any kind of effect or benefit from the skill in this instance. But if we make an insight check, we can see now that effects have added in, and Bob is now getting a +2 to his insight check. If we wanted to give Bob a benefit to all his skills, then we don't need to limit the effect. We can just put in skill 2 without any other modifiers, and when we apply that to Bob, you will see now that no matter which skill we roll, he's getting a bonus of +2 to that effect, or to that roll, I should say. Skill is another one of these keywords which will accept a dice string, so we can have a 1d4 and do that and apply the effect. And if we now make a skill check, we'll see that a d4 is also being thrown at the same time as the d20. So that's effectively the combat modifiers. We haven't covered damage, but the intention is that we'll cover damage in the next video. So thanks for watching. We'll see you there.